Okay, sorry.
Completely unrelated. Here we go, right? And there's also a little like how to use the Canvas video that I recorded, and people can watch on their own without making noise. It's here on the top of each group, as you can see. Can you see my screen? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just an embedded YouTube. It's a 5-minute explanation. It's completely fine. And it gives some guidance on how to operate as groups. The way we're going to do this is a workshop format. It's not a presentation. And you guys are free to get angry about this and then tell me what presentation you think I should have made. But I prefer doing workshops and I prefer interaction. So the cool thing is that with this interface in Miro, if you've never used it, we can actually directly collaborate on things and we can export the canvases and the result of the DAOs. The way this workshop is going to flow is we're going to talk on this room. So if you guys could like open your camera, we're going to have a checking round and just quickly integrate, understand why we're here, what kind of DAOs we want to build. Try to let these use cases flow up in a short round of conversation, divide ourselves into groups and build those use cases. It's very hands-on. If this is not what you're looking for, use the 2 feet law and use your 2 feet to go where you think you're more useful. It's fine. Nobody's going to be hurt. And also, if you feel like, oh, my friend should totally be here, send them a link. Tell them to come right now. It's okay to join in the middle. It's totally fine. So are you guys willing to like open the camera and have a chat so we can get into groups and design, find out what the use cases that we want to build today?
I told people they would have to be ready to like turn on their camera. I warned them 5 minutes ago. So
yeah. Well, yeah. If like it's really not going to work as like a passive consumption mechanics. That this is not what it is. I have a talk if you guys want. It's called Agency Comes of Age, but actually I was down to test the workshop format. Is anybody surprised that this was a workshop?
no, I mean it's a whole afternoon of workshop. So it should not. Let me see. There's a bunch of other people who said they were coming. And that one is.
Well, you don't need to use the camera actually, but the audio is going to be important. So maybe we can start with Larry, who has his camera open, or Mateo, if you want to play, or even you, Fanny, on like, what's your experience with DAOs and why are you interested in them? And with like a short 30-second to a minute introduction.
Should I start? I can start.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I have been to a DAOFest in Berlin. I've done a DAO canvas with Elon in New York, and it's something that's always fascinating to me as a new way to engage and build communities. So my biggest I mean, not concern, but like also goal is to see how these DAOs like can be implemented for communities who are not so much, like knowledgeable about like crypto and tokens. So this is always something that I'm trying to see how it's feasible, and especially for all these communities, I think there've been a lot of experiments of DAOs now that when the economy was very bad, on artists coming together and trying to find new ways to finance themselves and their practice, because they were well aware that no one would be doing that or helping them from the government or from like any outside help. So it's very empowering to me. DAOs, that's kind of the main thing. I don't believe like prove me wrong that like it's autonomous. So I think the name is really bad, but it's just a name. So we'll get over it.
If you guys want, find this talk on YouTube. Agency Comes of Age, and it's all based on the fact that the name DAO is really bad.
Yeah, so wrong. Like.
Larry, tell us a little bit about you.
Naja, I'm sitting. It's funny. I'm sitting around the corner of Exile Surfer in reality for whatever funny reason. I'm not really. Or like Fanny said, I'm thinking that the DAO terminology is totally wrong because it's simply very human, on the one hand to organize, on the other hand, the distributed decentralized is always a complicated thing because whenever you have a community, usually, there's a distribution of a big majority that is rather consuming. And then, it tops up like a pyramid where there's fewer and fewer people who are heavily involved and who are really doing something. So actually, I just popped in out of interest, but without any understanding of what would be happening right now. I'm really just rather interested, but
it's
apparently
totally fine.
So
yeah. Have you jumped into the Miro board? Are you in there?
I'm on the Discord chat, yeah.
So if you can click this link on the Miro board, you're going to see the.
So I'm already there. Yeah, I opened it.
So
I know this Miro.
I'm taking notes here. See, of the things
we're
saying, and they can kind of inform our process as we build a DAO. So given that we're 7 people, we might be just one group. It's totally fine. And we build a DAO together. So and Larry, just a little question, like a bit of your prior experience. You're in Austria, you said, no?
Yes, at the moment I'm here in Vienna. Yes.
And what's your story? Are you working with crypto or you?
I developed internet very early from university on. Actually, I was at the University for Economics and Business Administration, but for whatever reason, we had this funny idea that we needed to have more technology towards presentation. And of course, this was the time of HTML when it was beginning of browsers. Yeah, There was no Explorer at that time, so we were very early there. And apparently, of course, cryptography and digital money, eCash, like it was called way before Bitcoin. Was interesting stuff. And of course,
I saw an article about trying to connect the eCash post to Satoshi recently. They're trying, like, we found an old Satoshi post from the cypherpunks. That's fascinating.
They are connected. The team apparently is connected. There's the team that is called Satoshi. They are in one or the other way connected. And if it was only about the paperwork, about the research papers, but in fact, all the money we have is anyways a ledger and is digital. Yeah, it's only that the money we are currently using as so-called form of money or as currencies have these specific characteristics out of debt money, out of the process how money gets into the world, But apparently,
that's a strong glue that brings us all together here. So nice, Theo and David. Are you guys able to open the microphone and share a little bit, or you guys just want to be like passive observers, or maybe you want to use the chat? And also, Matteo, we don't know each other so well, so tell me a little bit about you as well.
Let me drop my idea about DAOs. I think the concept is great. As you said, maybe the terminology is a bit misplaced, just like also mass adoption is a bit like reductive to its possibilities enhancing. So what I think about DAOs, and this is something that Chris Hobcroft mentioned in his talk earlier this morning. He actually reframed the DAO concept to DAC, which is communities instead of organizations. And so there is, you see, there's already like people trying to reframe the concept, the naming, the linguistics of DAO from organization to communities. My personal view on that is that I like DAO because they empower what I call the liquid citizenship, which is something that it's becoming more and more up to date as you see that government decisions, also based on the tyranny of the majority, are not representing all the citizens. For example, in the Brexit scenario. So how do you place yourself if you're not for uh, for um, for a, for a political decision that involves everyone? So I think that right now we are approaching this state of liquid citizenship, and DAO represent the technological tools to make sure that this citizenship in the liquid world, let's call it like this, it's somehow there's a guarantor in that, like
Yeah,
helping.
DAOs is meta states, right? This is a discussion that has been happening inside the meta cartel recently.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when you write this in English, it's states with a S or with a E in the beginning. I'm not sure. It's states, no, right? State. I don't know. United States without a E. Okay. Cool. So we have these notions here. Anybody else willing to share a little bit and make sure you guys can get inside the Miro board and the link? Because I want to get going. I want to get going.
And raise a hand on the on the screen. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm losing my words, my virtual words. To not you. I just said raise your hand if you don't find the Miro link. Just don't randomly raise your hand, Matteo. You're not helping.
Hey, Jason. Jason, tell us a little bit about your story and DAOs. We're in the gearing up. Wow, you lost some weight, brother.
Hi everyone, my name is Jason. I'm from a country called Malaysia. My first time, experiencing DAOs was at Japan last year. So I had no clue what DAOs were until I met Felipe, Duarte. It was on the fourth day. I remember it was on the fourth day. It was on the fourth day of this the DEF CON conference, and there were like DAO workshops happening. There were like two rooms, one very, very big room, where Aragon, a few other, Metacata, I think they were all in that one room. And there was a smaller room, where basically Philip was doing his double show. I was like saying, I think I might be able to get more from, participating in the smaller room. So I went to the smaller room, and that was how I got introduced, to the workshop. And that was my first forte, into DAOs. I got so intrigued, by DAOs that the first thing I did is I asked Felipe, what I actually joined the first DAO, and I put in my first proposal to say, hey, I would like to run some workshops in Southeast Asia. So I did. So over the last 6 months, it has been quite an interesting journey. I've done 8 workshops in total. In Singapore, Thailand, Philippines. Where else? What's that? Indonesia, and my own country. And yeah, so I'm still, pretty new to DAOs. I'm actually launching my own DAO right now called Bitcoin Malaysia DAO, which is to help more Malaysians to organize beginner workshops, for people who are new to cryptocurrency. Help them to know what is real, what is fake, what is legit, what is not legit. And yeah, glad to be here. So this is a little introduction about myself.
Yeah, so DAOs can have babies. You see, like the Fest DAO, like had a baby that is now more open to discussing all the other topics of cryptocurrency, which I think is super cool. And then maybe the things that Jason develops and learns in the Bitcoin Malaysia DAO, we can actually learn and reincorporate at a global level later. So there's this liquid learning, and I am very bullish. I dutifully support parallel development, and that's why my Telegram chat name is Friend of All DAOs, because there's a lot of like competition between the DAO platforms, and I think it's pathetic. I would just say it open there. I don't give a shit. I want all DAOs to all DAO platforms to survive. I'll support all of them. I don't currently work for a DAO company, which is great. I'll talk to about the company I'm working for. But I was trying to get hired, but like I was talking to some DAO companies about a possible position, and I told them, look, when you're down, I'll be your best friend. But if you're winning and you want to destroy the others, I'll start sabotaging the company because I want all the DAO platforms to survive. Because whatever we're going to be working with in 5 years is probably going to look very different from what we have now. And we need all of them to be intermingling. Wait, I have to open the door. Give me a second. And I want you guys to go into the Miro link and take a silent moment to look at the canvas, just to feel it. Right? See the questions and maybe watch the little explainer video, and I'll be right back.
Do you all have I shared the link, so if you open chat for this room at the bottom, you can see it and find the mirror link. Just let me know if you can't find it. I'm sorry, he said we had to be silent. I broke the rule.
Fuck the police.
All right, I'm back. So I'm gonna share my screen now. Have you guys? Yeah, let me just explain in real life. It's fine. So this is Miro. This is kind of a super cool interface that allows us to work together. And I am super bullish on it. I think everybody should buy Miro because 2 years ago it was called Real-Time Board. It was interesting, but it was not that great. And it's gotten so good, it's gotten so amazing over the last 2 years that like I feel that they're gonna do beautiful things. So let's come here. See, there has been a little bit of vandalism happening here by accident. It's going to happen. It's fine. Let's go to the group 1, which used to be this one, and take a look at the canvas. And my assistant is annoying me. Okay, so I usually would recommend that we start by working at the controller. You see the controller here, this page? What's happening? Yeah. All right, guys, let's go. Did I do this or did somebody else do this? So the thing is, we're in digital space.
It's not me this time. Huh? It's not me.
So we're in digital space. We're like babies. We're still learning how to walk. But this is a challenge of the Corona times and the century. It's like we're bumping into each other in digital space. So I'm just going to kind of destroy this guy here real quick. Can somebody just delete that? I somehow lost. I am guest editing my own board. That's weird. Okay, I'll be right back. Book. This is not the right place. Where is my doop? There you go. Okay, so this is actually my login. And let me just delete this guy. Boom, out of the world, gone. Get out of here. Someone is holding it. I don't know. Guys, I'm gonna come here to group 3 and give me just a second to lock the interface so we don't do this again. All right, so this is locked. Don't touch anything for a second.
Okay.
This is locked. This is locked. This is locked. Good. We can still use the type. Yeah, perfect. Now everything's gonna go fine.
So can we click on group 3 then?
Group three. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I start at the controller. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna try to agree in what is the DAO use case that we want to build together. And I kind of lost the chat. I don't see your faces. What is the DAO use case that we want to build together? Based on the things that are alive for us. So what I want to do is have like a small pitch round for anyone that has an idea for a DAO, right? So we're having this like vast majority of passive consumers and a small subset of doers, which reflects the tendencies that Larry was talking about. But does anyone from the people who are willing to speak have an idea for a DAO that they would like to build? Look, if
Fanny,
you don't,
would you like to build a DAO?
yeah, if you don't say anything, I'll let Jason build it because he has ideas for DAOs all day.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Matteo. Like, we had looked at DAOs for like urban garden communities, and you know, like that. Matteo started like this project called UFarm, and so it was kind of an idea of like how do you apply like a DAO to it. But I don't know, Matteo, you might have done it before, so might not be relevant for you, but
Yeah, it's definitely a test draft, no problem, of course. I mean, I know that other people are working on Leap DAO, for example, so it's totally okay, whatever. I just didn't want to impose an idea, but open to Jason to
We truly need you to impose
Yeah,
an
yeah.
idea. That's the moment to impose ideas.
Okay, then urban gardens.
All right. So let's have Matteo lead us through this use case real quick. What I want us to do is to focus first on the highlighted fields, right? So as we agree on the controller, we are going to have more and more autonomy to go work at the rest of the canvas, right? So you call it UFarm? Is that the name?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just put it here and this, and then just make it smaller. You guys see how it works?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to try to describe the DAO's goals as explicitly as possible for us here, Matteo.
Yeah, I would start by saying that the DAO is an ecosystem where individual urban gardens can interact with each other on terms of publishing job postings for the local communities to take on and do work in the urban gardens of your area. And from a purely constitutional aspect, let's say that the DAO becomes populated as urban gardens register themselves onto an open census. So they have to basically, we are building that already. So it's
So we have a DAO within DAOs thing going on, right?
Yeah, practically, yes.
So let's say that there's the big. So are we designing the individual garden DAO or the big UFarm DAO?
Let's start from the individual garden. So it's about us. Imagine that we share a garden somewhere in Detroit or New York, and we want to manage the funds, etc.
Okay. All right.
Member DAO that has rep in the UFarm DAO. Right. Cool.
We can share this garden.
So the thing is, I usually, in a real life setting, the participants just work together. So I want you guys now to take over and just fill out this canvas.
Yep.
In this specific order. you're going to focus on the blue dotted lines first. And it's going, I suggest following this order, at least in terms of what you're agreeing about, and then separate. So you can go controller, community, governance, stakeholder analysis, actors. So it's like a little spiral, like woo, like this.
Yep.
Right?
Can somebody share with me the link to the Miro, please?
Yes. I'll send it on Telegram to you, Jason, if you're having problems with the Discord chat. Because I know you followed my link and it doesn't show the Discord chat. So I wasn't aware.
We're all
No, I
learning,
saw
as you
I
mentioned.
saw it on Twitter, and then I was like, what is this? And I was like, when is this happening? Oh, it's happening now. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, the thing about Miro, I think, is it's making my computer really slow. Like it's eating up all of my.
So I realized, okay, that when you do, because I've been also doing a lot of webinars lately, and when I share my screen, it does take up a lot of the computing power.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen because this is meant to be built by you guys, right? I'm not like a elementary teacher. So
we just need to hear each other. We just need to hear each other.
Your
wait, I'm
cursor is anyway visible on my.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Look. And so I'm here as a facilitator. You guys can ask me questions, etc. And I want you to talk amongst yourselves to try to achieve consensus when necessary, and then stop achieving consensus and take personal gambles if necessary. If you want to copy a page, like I want to do my version of the governance elements, and you're going to do your version, just let me know, and I will unlock the page for you. Okay? So let's go for it.
Should we put our names in front of it, like to agree to disagree if someone has a different idea?
We should. I'm not in it yet, so.
No, you can talk to each other. It's allowed. Yeah. Just talk to each other, you know. And so let me just unlock this because somebody moved it and boom.
Sorry,
wait, give me a second. I'm gonna fix it. Boom, it's locked.
This is fun.
Yeah, after we learn how to use it.
Can I just ask one question?
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Because I mean we are also building here an ecosystem. Apparently as a really on some sort of professional system with a huge sales force, and so I was wondering, you know, when you talk in U-Farm and about collaborative gardening or so, what exactly do you understand under the term ecosystem? Is it, you know, that like you share, you know, you share the seeds, or you share the fruits, or also if I understand ecosystem correctly, then this always has to do something with some kind of transaction or some kind of transformation, you know, goods against, for example, money, you know, where you can overcome time and space.
I think that's a good question.
That's precisely why this canvas was invented, because translating and exploring these questions through, so for example, the questions that he asked are touching upon several of the pages here, right? So we can try to answer it by taking a look at the governance elements, like what is the common proposal? What is the most common type of proposal that is going to be going through this DAO, right?
Okay.
He also made a question about the stakeholders, like who are these personas? Who are these people? From their point of view, what's the primary objective of the DAO? What connects them? How do you coordinate strategy, planning, and direction? And how do they leverage the participation in the systems for their personal like individual benefit? So the canvas addresses like the human ecosystemic from the perspective that Larry just put, strategy of the DAO. And especially considering how bad the UX of the Web3 is, this internal motivation needs to be super strong for a DAO to even like survive a week, or else it just becomes this sort of abandoned piece of blockchain infrastructure. So I really want you guys to continue this chat. I just wanted to make like a little intervention.
Right. So you're asking me why did I use the term ecosystem for this particular?
No. Actually, what do you exactly understand? So I understand the terminology urban gardening.
Okay.
I know examples. I know that in Italy, you are far more advanced in this. Also in Milano, I think there is beautiful examples of urban gardening. Yeah, here in Vienna, for example, for the people, as you can see from me, I have some kind of garden. So I'm in a little bit of privileged situation. But there is, for example, public areas, and this is quite interesting when we also talk about stakeholders, where the city of Vienna said, okay, in our big gardens, in our gardens owned by the city, aka the people, yeah, we open several spaces that are dedicated to have your own piece of garden, yeah, which is some kind of mixture between public gardening, urban gardening, but you are in charge of this piece within a bigger piece of a garden. And so, for example, people could share, the instruments they need for the gardening. They could share the hose for watering, and now we get further, because sometimes you don't have the time to go to the garden, but still, the garden needs water treatment. So, and here's maybe the first suggestion for this DAO. For example, if someone accesses the hose and starts to water the flowers or starts to water the fruit, the vegetables, whatever, why doesn't this person water everybody's garden? Because he's there or she's there anyway, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. So the structure you mentioned, I think that there are different kind of structures for urban gardens around the world. And one example that we have in Turin, for example, is like big shared gardens where people can rent slots, but also other people who cannot afford a slot or who don't want to pay for the garden, they can just work there for the others. So whenever I cannot go to my slot, I can just say, hey, can someone please take care of that? And the person who's there will take care of that and like write down the amount of work that she put into my slot, for example. Another use case is that me as the thing you mentioned, like there's public areas that are destroyed and just given to co-ops, communities, associations to raise gardens, etc. The thing is that I think this model is like growing very, very fast, especially in Detroit, apparently. But it has a blind spot, which is that me as a member of an urban garden where I pay my quota, etc., I cannot go to another urban garden unless I subscribe and I become a member to the urban garden too. So my whole idea behind this sort of still a bit blurry concept is to avoid these blocks and make these as fluid as possible. So if I find myself, because I work on the other side of the city, close to your urban garden, for example, and you issued a work because you cannot go there, me as a part of the biggest of a greater DAO, I can go there and work for your smaller member DAO. So I can basically work for your garden and still get rewarded for it. So this was a bit the basic concept.
One other thing is that like it's very interesting that the concept you described in Vienna is it's the same in many different cities, not managed exactly the same way, but But so it can be managed by, as you said, the city, can be like a private company, can be like a just a community coming together. But there is no way to actually know. For example, if I arrive in a new city, it's very hard to know or like have like a database of these gardens, and know maybe some of these gardens might wanna sell their production because they produce too much, and like gardeners don't have use of the vegetables, or do this collaboration between gardens and Matteo mentioned. So
Does this answer your question, or is there any blind spot still left?
Well,
Sure, you go ahead first.
so now I'm fine. So we are talking about a public collaborative ecosystem with agents that have different roles and can also interchange in the roles. Yeah, but the main idea, of course, is that a garden is something good, and the more people benefit from it, the better, right?
Yeah, more than the garden itself, because the production, of course, is limited. But the ecosystem, let's call it the token ecosystem that can generate out of it, and that can empower maybe more circular economy patterns within the local economy of a given city. That is something which is really interesting to explore, in my opinion. Like, and because this phenomenon is like becoming
Oh, I was muted. I was trying to interrupt you, Matteo.
yeah,
I love debates. I was screaming here with the muted microphone. One thing, if you have an iPad, it's super cool to interact with Miro via the iPad. I just drew a flower there in the corner. And the other thing with my pencil, and the other thing is debates are amazing, but let's start cooperating instead of collaborating.
right.
And let's anoint members to be like autonomous to do one thing. So Matteo, I want you to go to the actors page now and work on the token economics of this.
Yeah.
Larry, I want you to go to the stakeholder analysis and try to see what is the set of agents and what's their motivations and why they are there. And then we just present to each other the token design and the stakeholder analysis. And they're likely to be more similar than different. And in the delta of the difference, we might find new things. So we use action and debate tactically, so we don't get lost into just words, and we try to commit things to paper as much as possible. So I'm going to time this. So we're going to do like 5 minutes of just writing whatever we want on the canvas, just 5 minutes, and then we come back to a debate stage where we present what we've done. How does that sound?
Yeah,
That sounds great. Let's do that.
So wake me up in 5 minutes.
can I go on the community side of things? What do I do?
Yeah.
What is that?
Go to the community
What do I
side. Go to the
do?
community. Go to the community side.
So basically, just fill up the canvas.
Go everywhere you want. Go everywhere you want. It's just a suggestion. But I would say just try to focus on the blue. If there's a blue field that's empty, do that first. The highlighted blue fields. Man, why does this thing keep muting me? Is there like a hotkey that I'm pressing by accident? So go everywhere you want, feel the blue fields first, and I'm just going to keep drawing. That's what I said while I was muted.
One question: when you say the principles of the organization, do you mean? What do you mean? Can you give me an example?
I mean, from an ideological point of view, are these people capitalists or communists? Are they?
Okay.
Are they into like? Are they individualists or they're like really into deciding everything together or all? So usually, when you're working with a group of humans that already exist, having an analysis of the underlying ideologies will help design a lot, because usually these are assumptions. These are things that are not even discussed. Let's say we're a group, like we're a feminist circle. there's a lot of like underscoring principles there that go unspoken, and exploring them is important.
Cool.
Felipe, I don't get what you mean by ideal proposal types. What is supposed to be written in here? Sorry.
I can
Cool.
answer
So
that question.
go for it, Jason.
So, an ideal proposal type, okay, is imagine, okay, that people are coming into your DAO and they want, okay, to propose something, to do something in your DAO. What would that be? Okay, so it could be something like, I would like to maybe, okay, build, the website doesn't look very nice or it's not very user friendly. I have, I am able to basically do this. So then that's like that's a form of proposal type. So they will write a proposal to a DAO, and then they will say that I can do this for the DAO, okay, and this is the amount of time, okay, it takes for me to do this work, and this is the amount of resources that I need, okay, to carry out the work.
Okay, so we are talking about the action that can be performed within the DAO, or the actions that the DAO, the community has to accomplish offline.
We're talking about the on-chain manifestation
Perfect.
of a decision.
Perfect.
It's the proposal itself.
Thank you. That.
Because, for example, one of the learnings of that I've had stewarding DAOs and building DAOs, etc., is that it gets way easier if for the interaction to start if you have like a frame of the types of proposals. And in the case of the Fest DAO, that's quite extreme, where like even the rep payout and the money payout is predefined per action, and there's a set of like 6-8 actions. And you still have the ability to propose whatever you want and to set whatever you want. Just giving people a guidance, a frame, helps a lot. And in the end, that's a DAO is, in my point of view, a DAO is not a lot more than a collection of proposals, like on-chain actions. Even in an extreme like vision of automated DAOs and oracles and data markets and energy market, whatever, you actually don't need users. You can have non-human entities that are transacting and governing via DAO. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, the 5 minutes are up. Do you guys need more time? Are you guys having fun?
30 seconds.
I'm just trying to define here, so it takes a little time, but I think it's open anyway, so it can be added by anybody.
If anybody finds out how to select multiple elements at once, I'll give you a cookie, because I haven't found out yet.
So what you do is that you click on one item and then you hold shift and you click on another item.
Basically,
no, yeah, okay, that's not multiple selecting, because if I want to move my drawing, I'm gonna have to click 253 times. So I'm trying to figure out how to do like a.
I doubt that this is possible because you are in another layer.
So you hold
Did it-
shift, Philip, you
Mhm.
hold shift, and you can
Mhm.
now drag. You can now select more tools.
Yes, it worked. I wasn't
Yeah.
being able to do it before. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just dumb. Thanks, Jason. Okay, now I owe you a cookie, and I'm gonna actually pay this once Corona is over. We're gonna see each other.
I thought you would just send him a cookie into the
Come to
browser.
Malaysia. Come to Malaysia.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm gonna buy you a cookie on Amazon. Jason, send me your address on Telegram.
Oh dear, it's gonna be a disgusting cookie. It's gonna arrive here moldy.
No, it's
Why
gonna
don't
be a
just
good
do
cookie.
a virtual cookie? Just do a virtual one. Like a little NFT like
No.
piece of art.
There's-
Actually, you can mint your
no,
cookie NFT.
virtual cookies never made anyone happy. Come on, Penny.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've been trying to make gluten-free cookies and
Okay.
all this.
No, sorry, it's irresistible. I was a vandal there for a second. I couldn't resist it. A big flower. Okay, I'm gonna draw Jason a cookie like it's a virtual temporary cookie to substitute. What's your favorite cookie, Jason? Is it chocolate chip or?
My favorite cookie is white macadamia. White chocolate
White
macadamia.
macadamia. Perfect. So there's
White
this like
chocolate
macadamia things here. I actually really like that cookie as well. Nice, good taste. And what's so cool about the virtual DAO canvas that I'm feeling is that we can actually like have these things rolling over time, and we can end up with a giant collection of DAOs.
Yeah.
Especially if people have like basic Miro etiquette. This is actually way better than the real life workshops.
So cool. This is so cool because it allows real time.
Ja, vielleicht gibt es am Schreibtisch bei der Mama.
Beautiful.
Sorry,
Und Larry, ich wohne in Berlin. Wir können zusammen sein, wenn Corona fertig ist.
Ja, sicher. Ja, meine Tochter hat gerade was gesucht. Also for Fanny, my daughter, I think you have a daughter too. My daughter.
I don't have a daughter.
No,
but I have a garden.
Yeah.
For Fanny.
I have a daughter and a son.
Oh, very nice. So she was just looking for something. So basically,
Okay.
she asked me. Actually, she was curious what I'm doing here outside with the laptop.
Yeah, Daddy's crazy. He's outside with a laptop.
Yeah, somehow I ran into this Apple book, whatever. Actually, I'm not really an Apple user, but
so I just for the sake of time, I think there's we do have Elon from DHack with
we're done.
Minutes.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
But I do want to like if you wrap up, like I do want you Felipe to give us a way to continue this work because I do want to go on the other.
So this link is for ETHTurin. It's going to be there. I have a pro account in Miro, and I can have these free guest editors whenever you guys want. So it's going to be there forever, and you guys can keep working. And Matteo is free to bring his collaborators from the actual Garden DAO. You guys can come and work at the other canvases. It's easy to unlock them. You just have to click for a little bit. And yeah, this is a virtual space where we can collaborate. 1 hour is usually not enough to fill the canvas. That's why we created the blue highlighted fields, especially when we have to relearn a tool, etc. But I feel that in general, this has been super successful. And you guys really helped me test this. We can have sessions on this whenever we like, and guys can do it on your own. That's why I made the video on the side there. And also, this is going to happen in consensus really soon as well. Again, it's going to be a different board, etc. So we can create a little history for this. And I want to just thank you guys for the patience of us like going through this and figuring it out. I had a great time, and I even was able to draw a flower, which I really I'm addicted to drawing. And even I was able to do a little gardener here in the user persona. So if you're wondering why the user persona field is like this shape, it's for you to make a drawing inside, because I think drawing is important. Guys, thank you very much. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. I love communities, but I don't like computers that much. I send you all my love. And thanks for coming.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
One last.
See you after Corona.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Vienna for sure. So if you want to add me, guys, on Telegram, it's at Elementary Complexity. And a trip to Vienna is in the books, Larry, because I'm a painter, and there's so much great art in that city, and I have to go see it.
Very good. I love painting. I mainly love Monet.
Monet, yeah. Well, when I was in the Musée d'Orsay, behind the clock,
yes,
I was crying my eyes out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the Musée d'Orsay is fantastic. I love it.
Then I think a Monet painting should be the U-Farm. We should put one of a little Monet icon on the canvas.
Yeah, he was a master gardener of crazy proportions. Yeah.
Yeah,
guys, I'll see you.
You can see the garden. So
can you
don't forget
Elementary Complexity? Okay,
don't forget to add me. And my Twitter is Duarte DAO, like this.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for testing.
Guys.
I think we're very much learning, like all this. It's kind of a silver lining, like we're learning new tools and new ways to collaborate. So this is awesome that it's exactly that. It's the proof of concept, and thank you again, Felipe, for taking the time to put all that together and making it virtual. So really awesome, and I'm definitely gonna hang out and try not to destroy the board.
All right, guys, it was quite stressful to put this together, to be honest, because I had to innovate. I didn't know what was going to work, so it was like intense 2 days. But you guys made it all worth it, and I'm really happy. So have a good time. And sorry to invade your. Elon, sorry. I know I didn't invade your time, so it's fine. Elon, have a good time, man.
It's fine, but